Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing my May wrap up. In the month of May, I read 4 books, 5 books, 5 books. And so this one's going to be fairly short. Um, I had a great reading month. I really enjoyed all of these. Um, they were so good. I have at least one that I'm for sure going to do a separate video on. I may do two because one of them is just so crazy. I had a great time listening to it. Never thought that I would be into thrillers. It was a great time, but we'll get into it. So the first book that I finished was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and this book follows Justin and I don't remember her name. Emma, that's her name. So it follows Justin and Emma, and they meet because Justin posts in a Reddit post that every time he dates a woman and then they break up, she ends up meeting and marrying the very next guy that she dates. And so he's got this, kind of bad luck. And so she comments that same thing happens to her. So they decide to get together in order to sort of balance out their bad luck so that they can both go on and go on to the next person and fall in love and get married and all those things. Well, so Justin is his part of the story is that he is getting ready to take in his 3 younger siblings. Yeah, 3 younger siblings because his mom is going away for a while. And so he's getting ready to become this guardian of these children. And he's a bit resentful of his mom. And so he's having to deal with these family dynamics. And Emma is a travel nurse, and her best friend, they always pick a place where they're going to go. And Emma convinces Maddie to go to where Justin is. I think it's Minnesota. And they stay there for 3 months so that she can have this time with Justin in order to see if they can kind of balance out their curses. And so they go and they're doing all the date things. And then Emma's mom comes into the picture and a lot of Emma's childhood trauma because Emma ended up being in foster care for a while and mom is very chaotic. And so Emma's having to deal with a lot of trauma and trust issues and things like that. And it was so good. Justin is like the epitome of boyfriends. Like, if he was real, there's no way he'd be single. Like, he's just fantastic. I loved him so much. And I think that for me, like, he is really what made the story. I really like their individual stories, but he's the one who made it go from like a good story to like top 10 books so far on this list or on this year. Like, love it so much. It's so good. The next book on this list is Beautiful Ugly, and I don't remember who it's by, but it'll be on the screen. And so this is what I'm talking about when I say that I didn't know I liked thrillers. So I'm reading this for my book club at work, and it's the first book that we picked. And my goodness, I was only supposed to read like 3 chapters. I went through the whole thing. Like, there was no stopping. Once I hit chapter 4, I was gone. Like, there was no stopping. And never knew that I might be interested in thrillers. But so, this one, we're following this guy Grady, and it starts out where he is having like the best day. He is waiting for news that his book is a bestseller, and his wife is coming home, and he's on the phone with her, and she's like, "There's a woman in the road," and he's like, "Don't get out of the car." And so she gets out of the car to, investigate this woman in the road. Well, his wife ends up missing. Like, she is gone. And they don't know what happened to her. He hasn't heard anything. The police won't do anything. He can't bury her because there's no body in because they won't consider her dead for like 7 years. So he's just kind of in this like grief limbo. And this is chapter 1. And so then we kind of fast forward a year and his writing career is tanked and he's not doing well. He's just not doing well. He is struggling. And so his agent recommends him going to this island. And so he goes to this island to just be in this cabin by himself. And there's only like a handful of people on the island. And so he goes and he's seeing his wife everywhere. Like she was on the boat when he was going to the island and then she was gone. And he'd be on the island and she's there and then she's gone. And he's not sleeping and he's not eating very well and everything's kind of trippy. You don't know if he's losing it or if the town is freaking him out. You have no idea what's going on. And it is so good. Like, I had a fantastic time. And it's definitely one of those books where you have to read it and then go back through and read it again because you missed so many things. Like, so many things. And so I read it all. And then I showed up at my book club, and, you know, other people had only read the 3 chapters. So, in order for me to like be fully present and not give away stuff, I am re listening to those chapters right before the meeting so that I know what's going on, you know, so I'm not accidentally giving anything away. But oh, it was so good. And I am honestly going to need to read more of these thrillers because they are so good. Actually, I do want to read The Wives by like Taryn Fisher or somebody. I think that's her name. That one sounds really good. And I actually have it on my Libby app, but I'm just not ready for it yet because I got too many other things going. But if you have any thriller recommendations, please put them in the comments because I think that this could be a genre that I actually get into. So who knows? I may move from fantasy over to thriller, but we'll see. I could always do all of it. You never know. So the next book that I finished was a reread. It was Wrath by John Gwynne. This is book 4 to the Faithful and the Fallen series. And I love this book just as much as I did when I originally read it. Um, if you don't know what this series is about, we are following 2 sides of a war. And there are 2 gods, and each of the gods are going to pick a champion. And one champion is going to be called the Bright Star, and then the other champion is going to be called the Black Sun. And both champions are going to gather a warband and then they're going to duke it out for the sake of the entire nation. And we are following various different people from both sides of the war. And the fun thing about the story is that you don't fully know who's who. You don't know which one is the Bright Star and which one is the Black Sun. And it's just so much fun. And it's very like good versus evil. And there are a lot of messages and themes about like courage and loyalty and friendship and chosen family and honor and doing the right thing. And it's just, oh, it's so good. We have animal companions, we have great battle scenes, we've got everything you need in a classic fantasy story, and it is one of my favorites. And I really love Wrath. Like, it's a really good conclusion on reread, and maybe I'm a little bit more experienced than when I first read it. But I do feel like there is a little bit of plot armor going on. I don't feel like we lose enough of the people that we probably should lose. And so that's my only complaint. But like, it's a minor complaint. I'm not really complaining. Um, but yeah, if you haven't read Faithful and the Fallen, you're totally missing out because it is so good. That first book is a little bit slow, but after that it picks up. I do have a video on it, so check that out if you want to hear me rant for almost an hour about this book. Okay, so this next book that I finished, y'all didn't even know I was reading because I started it like a year ago, and then I would get the Libby, the what's it called? I would get the book from the Libby app, and then my 2 weeks would run out, and then I'd have to wait months, and then get it again, and then it just kept. It was a mess. But so I finally finished it, and the book is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. And this book we follow um, this dude Kel, and he is what they call a sword catcher. And so basically, he is a body double for the prince. If there's a dangerous situation and they're not sure that the prince will be safe, they send Kel out to do whatever the prince was supposed to do. And if he dies, then he did his job. And so like that is his whole role, is he is there to protect the prince. That is his entire life's purpose. And he's been doing this since he was about 10 years old because they recruited him because he was an orphan. So, and they needed somebody to be a bodyguard for the prince. And so that's what he does. Well, so we're following the story, and there's some like politicking happening. And Kel is a little bit more privy to a lot of that politicking and dealing with some of these like underground criminals. I don't know what you would call them, but they kind of run the underground. They're the crime lords, you know? And so Kel has started like sort of interacting with them because they're giving him information, and he's trying to do his job, but also trying to um, not get swept up in all the politicking and get swept up with these crime lords. And so we're just following him as he's trying to figure all this out. And we're also following the perspective of this other girl. And I don't quite remember her name at this moment, but we're following her story, and she is a healer. And so she gets kind of wrapped up in with the palace and with Kel and the prince and all of these things. And she's trying to learn a little bit of magic in order to be a better healer. And so we're just following their stories. And I would say that I'm intrigued by the story, not so much that I love it. But I think part of that problem is the fact that it took me so long to listen to it. Like, it's probably been a year that I've been trying to listen to this book, but because it was a really slow start and I just kind of didn't care about like her storyline. I really liked Kel's, and I was intrigued by the fact that like he was a sword catcher. I thought that was pretty cool. But it was just very slow early on. And so it kind of just took me forever to read it. But I'm definitely going to continue into the next book, mostly because I like Kel. So he's really the only reason why I'm continuing. Then the last book that I finished was The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting by Ivana Lynch. This is Luna Lovegood's story. This is how she was growing up and how she ended up getting involved in Harry Potter. And we follow mostly her struggle with her eating disorder. And I loved getting her perspective. Like, I don't see a whole lot of books about that kind of topic. I'm probably just not seeing them. I know that they're out there. Um, but I loved her voice in this. I loved the fact that she was honest about her experiences, you know, because recovery is messy. And she was very honest about that. And she didn't try to romanticize it, even though, like, it was how she survived her adolescence, you know? So it was a survival tactic that really benefited her in a twisted way. It benefited her. You know, she got out of it what she was wanting to get out of it. And she doesn't romanticize it, which is fantastic. While being very honest and just vulnerable with how she tells her story. And I just love the fact that she was part of Harry Potter and we got to see how she got involved. And I really enjoyed the story. I have a vlog for that one, so check that out. But yeah, that is all the books that I read this month. What did you read in May? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.